Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As we come together in this room right now, we are about to embark upon a monumental journey. Your Hajj has already begun. When you started to contemplate and to think about performing the Hajj, that's when you took the first step. So Hajj doesn't begin when you arrive at the airport in London, nor does it begin when you arrive in Jeddah or in Medina or Mecca. It begins when you first start the niyyah of al-Hajj. So the one who's going to perform Hajj the correct way, there are a lot of people who perform Hajj, but if you're going to perform the Hajj that the Prophet described, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as the Hajj Mabrur, then you have to start getting yourself in the frame of mind right now in terms of things that you should be doing and things that you should not be doing. I'll just give you an example, and I don't think anyone in this room is a practitioner of what I'm going to say, but this is just an example. There's a Muslim who, when the month of Ramadan comes, he's drinking khamr. So he stops drinking sharab or khamr a day or two before Ramadan starts. He says, I'm going to get serious about Ramadan, and he stops just for Ramadan. But the Prophet ﷺ told us if a person drinks khamr, his prayer won't be accepted for 30 days. So although he stopped a day or two before Ramadan, the effect and the impact of the khamr is going to last throughout the duration of the month of Ramadan. Same thing about Hajj. If he drinks khamr and then he stops and he wants to get serious right before Hajj, the impact of that thing is going to affect him throughout his days of Ramadan. On this trip, we have a lot of things as the religious advisor. We have a lot of things to talk about. So I won't get into the danger of a person doing deeds and actions only to have those deeds and actions thrown back at him in his face Yawm al-Qiyamah. I work for the masjid. When I go to get my salary at the end of the month, if the masjid, if they were to short me my money by half of my salary, a quarter, a third of it, it's going to be a problem. I'm going to make a big fuss. I'm going to take the table and I'm going to flip it over and say, where's my money? And someone better come up with a valid excuse as to why they took half of my money away, because that's my blood, sweat, and tears. It's the money of my babies. If the masjid turned around and they said to me, well, you didn't live up to your obligations. You weren't on time. You were not professional. You did this and you did that. This is what's going to happen to a lot of people, Yawm al-Qiyamah. And the worst thing that you want to do is come Yawm al-Qiyamah to have your deeds taken away from you and distribute it and give it to somebody else. That's one of the worst things. And that's why we have many ayat of the Qur'an dealing with that. So we'll talk about that inshallah later on, but I wanted to bring this to your attention that we have to start putting ourselves in the frame of mind, what is Hajj all about? So in this presentation, I want to turn that light on inside of your mind, inside of your spirit. And the first thing that I would say is that when it comes to taking a trip, there are many reasons why we take trips. We take trips in order to get married. We go and we attend the weddings of our relatives. We travel for our jobs. We travel to visit people. We travel for different reasons. The Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ and the Qur'an shows us that everybody is going to travel. Everybody in this place has traveled. You're traveling. You will continue to travel. It's part of life. But this trip to Hajj is probably the single most important trip you're going to take. It's a monumental journey of a lifetime. No one can afford to squander this opportunity. So traveling has been defined in the Qur'an and the Sunnah from A to Z, Alif to Ya. Allah said in many of the ayahs of the Qur'an, فَسِيرُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ فَانْظُرُوا كَيْفَ كَانَ عَاقِبَةُ الْمُكَذِّبِينَ. travel through the earth and see what was the end result of those people who disbelieve and rejected. The Prophet used to travel and he would leave, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, at certain times of the day, on certain days, certain dua that you have to make, you should make, things you should do while traveling, so many issues. The etiquette of traveling. We're going to deal with that, but I'm trying to bring this to your attention. This trip right here is unlike any other trip that you're going to make in your life. Now, although you haven't performed Hajj yet, the reality of it is, everybody here in this room, you've been there already. Even those of you who have not been there, you have been there already. In the Qur'an, for those of you who are writing, in ayat number 172, Surah Al-A'raf, Surah number 7, Allah said in that ayat, and remember, Ummah of Islam, Qur'an is saying, Allah, and remember, ponder, reflect over the time when Allah created Adam, and before he blew into Adam the spirit of life, he took out of Adam all of his descendants, and he caused them all to bear witness to La ilaha illallah. Allah said to all of them, am I not your Lord? They all say, yes, you are our Lord. La ilaha illallah. Allah says, so that you don't come Yawmul Qiyam and say you didn't have any knowledge about this. And then he put them back in Adam's loins. And then he blew into Adam the spirit of life. That's the ayah. Our Prophet, our Nabi al-Mustafa, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, in an authentic hadith, he said, when Allah took the children of Adam out of Adam's loins, he placed them all at Mount Arafat. And they all stood on the plain of Mount Arafat, and all of them said, La ilaha illallah. And another hadith inside Bukhari and Muslim, the Prophet mentioned in explaining this hadith even further, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, kullu mawludan yuladu ala al-fitra, fa'abawahu yuhawwidanihi aw yunassiranihi. Every child is born upon the fitra. His mother and his father make him a Jew or Christian. Every child, Allah created him and he planted into his spirit the seed of worshiping Allah alone. His natural way is to look up in the sky and to say, oh my Lord, oh my Lord. He won't worship the sun. He won't worship Christianity, Jesus. He won't be a Sikh, agnostic, Hindu. He won't be an atheist unless his parents or his environment corrupted that fitrah. So everybody here has been in Mecca. Everybody here has been in that area. Now this hadith and this ayat that I just shared with you is critical that you understand this. It proves many things. It proves number one, and this is important. Those people who claim that they are Qur'aniyun, give me the Qur'an, I don't take the Sunnah, because the Sunnah, some of that is weak. Bukhari, Muslim, just give me the Qur'an. The Qur'an is the kalam of Allah, I believe in it, but the Sunnah is a problem. Just give me the Qur'an. People who claim that, the least we're going to say about that person is you are kadhab, you're a liar. A pathetic, pathological liar. Because if you don't take the Sunnah, you can't practice this religion. You can't. How are you going to know about this ayat? Because the Qur'an didn't tell us that we all were placed at Mount Arafat. That's the Sunnah that told us. And those of you in this audience who are about to perform Hajj, you will not be able to perform Hajj without the Sunnah. Prophet ﷺ wanted to perform Hajj. He gathered his companions up. He said to them, Ya ayyuhan nas, khudhu anni manasikakum. O you people, learn the rites of Hajj from me. We're about to go to Mecca, learn from me. So everybody got ready. A large group of people got ready, over 100,000 companions. They said, we're going to go to Hajj with the Nabi, and they watched every step that he made, from the time he left Medina to the time he came back. If someone gave you the Qur'an alone and said perform Hajj, you're not going to know what to do. You're not going to know what to do. You'll have a general idea, but the vast majority of the rules and regulations of Hajj will be unknown to you and by you. What explains that to us? The Sunnah. So let's just say for an example, this is an example. We have a person here who says, I only take the Qur'an, I don't take the Sunnah. You have to change that way of thinking. It's just like prayer. Just like prayer. Salat al-Jum'ah is mentioned in the Qur'an. There's a surah called Jum'ah. But it doesn't say that the Imam gives a khutbah. It doesn't say that when you pray 2 rakat, the Imam says, Salaamu Alaikum, sits down, the Mu'adhin gives the adhan. It doesn't give us the detail. Quran told us to pray 5 prayers a day. It doesn't go through the details. So a person can be going to this Hajj, performing Hajj, but he has some heretical type of understanding of Islam, and it won't be accepted because what he's saying is, that's one thing that this hadith and this ayah shows. But the real reason why I'm bringing it to your attention is the first point I want to talk about. This ayah shows the importance of a tawheed in Hajj. The main goal and the main objective of this Hajj is for each and every one of us to make our sincere devotion and prayer and sacrifice to Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah put all of Adam's children at the Mount of Arafat and made them bear witness to his oneness. He didn't make them bear witness to zakat. He didn't make them bear witness to the importance of establishing the khilafah. He didn't make them bear witness to establishing jihad. All of that's important. He caused them to bear witness to his oneness. That's what Hajj is all about. Hajj is not about shopping, although you can do that. Hajj is not about going and taking selfies and sending them back saying, look at me, look at me. Hajj is not about just a vacation and seeing another part of the world. Hajj is not about that. Hajj is about each and every individual bringing the frame of mind. This is the right that Allah has on me, and I have to keep that in mind. That's what the struggle is all about. That's the primary struggle. Allah mentioned in the Quran and proving this point, وَلِلَّهِ عَلَى النَّاسِ حِجُّ الْبَيْتِ مَنِ اسْتَطَاعَ إِلَيْهِ السَّبِيلَ. And Allah has the right that the people make Hajj to his house. That's his right, that we establish that worship to him and with him alone. Not to be able to say, and this was a practice of the Muslims a long time ago and today, once the person performs Hajj, he gets a big picture of himself on top of a camel over there in Mecca, Muzdalifah, Medina, at Uhud. One of the Bedouins say, hey, Haji, come, climb up on the camel. He gets on the camel, he takes a picture, gives him the picture. The man, he enlarges the picture, he puts it over his mantle place, and he says, Al-Hajj Abu Granfal. Hajj is not for that, to be called Al-Haji. That's not for that. It's for a person to single Allah out for his worship. And you have to get that in your mind. The Prophet, he said about the Hajj in this issue, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Man hajja lillahi wa lam yarfuth wa lam yafsuq raja'a kayawm waladathu ummuhu. Anyone who performs Hajj for Allah, and then when he goes, he's not lewd in his language and his behavior, and he's not aggressive and makes mistakes by being aggressive towards people, he will return from that Hajj like the day his mother gave birth to him. Little baby right there drinking the water, our little sister, the little baby right there, has no sins. If he makes Hajj for Allah, not so that people can say he performed Hajj, but for Allah, he'll return sinless. When you perform Hajj, from the beginning to the end, everything that you do that the Prophet showed us, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is about the oneness of Allah, the oneness of Allah. When the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam wanted to perform Hajj, as you're going to learn this, inshallah, he would say before performing the Hajj, Allahumma hadhihi hijjatun la riya'a fiha wa la sum'a. You have to learn this dua, inshallah, and we'll come to that. He said, before performing the Hajj, oh Allah, here I am. I'm about to perform this Hajj, a Hajj that has no showing off in it, and it's not being done so people can hear that I did it. That's what the Prophet taught us, and you have to say that. He, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, once he put his ihram on, he would make the talbiyah, another important dua that you have to make. You're not going to be here and you're going to be overwhelmed with things to do with the Hajj. I would say the least you should do is learn these simple du'as. Spend your time doing that now. And when we get there, inshallah, whatever you see about the Hajj and its rights, we're going to help you with that when we get there, inshallah. Because you'll be overwhelmed if we try to tell you everything now. But learn these du'a right now before you get there. Remember when I became a Muslim. And every new Muslim will tell you this. When you're praying with the people, you don't know the Qur'an yet. You don't know Surah Al-Fatiha. So you just have to follow the people next to you. And although you're doing it, you never really feel the beauty of the prayer. You never really feel it because you're just parroting the movements of the people around you. You're mimicking them. But as time goes on and you start to learn what you're saying, you feel more in touch with the spirituality and the essence of your prayer. So learn those du'as. So from his du'a is the talbiyah, one of the most important du'as of al-Hajj. And in it is the oneness of Allah. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. Labbaik la sharika laka labbaik. Inna alhamda wa ni'mata laka wal mulk la sharika lak. All of that is tawheed. The Kuffar of Quraysh used to say something similar to this when they performed Hajj. They used to say, oh Allah, here we are for you, along with you and other than you. Oh Allah, here we are to perform Hajj for you, but also with the other guys of the Kaaba. The Prophet came and he excluded the other guys of the Kaaba. He, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he would make the run from Safa to Marwa. When he stood on Safa, as you're going to do, he would look at the Kaaba. Now you can't see the Kaaba because the way it's built, the second level. You can only see it from certain places, and there are very few. You don't have to see it. It doesn't affect you, but you face the Kaaba. At Safa and Marwa, he used to say a dua, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, wahdahu la sharika lahu, lahul mulk wa lahul hamd, yuhyi wa yumit, wa huwa ala kulli shayin qadir. La ilaha illallah, anjaza wa'da, wa nasra abda, wa hazam al-ahzab al-wahda. And he would say that 3 times. All of that is Tawheed, Tawheed, Tawheed. The Nabi would go around the Kaaba 7 times. After going around the Kaaba 7 times, he would go behind the maqam of Ibrahim and pray 2 rak'ahs. In the 2 rak'ahs, he read Surah Qul ya ayyuhal kafirun, la a'budu ma ta'budun, in the first rak'ah. And that surah is equal to 1/4 of the Qur'an. After that, in the second rak'ah, Qul huwallahu ahad, Surah Al-Ikhlas, equal to 1/3 of the Qur'an. So from the beginning to the end of Hajj, all it is Tawheed, Tawheed, Tawheed. He wants to slaughter at Hajj. He puts his animal down and he said what? Bismillahi, Allahu Akbar. In the name of Allah, I do this for Allah, and Allah is the greatest. At the mountain of Arafat, he said that on Arafat, that's the day more people are emancipated from the hellfire than any other day. And Allah brags to the Malaika about the pilgrims who are at Arafat. He said the best dua to make at Arafat that I said and the prophets before me, we said, La ilaha illallah, wahdahu la sharika la, lahul mulk wa lahul hamd, wa huwa ala kulli shayin qadir. Everything, ikhwani, from the beginning to the end is Tawheed. Unfortunately today, the Muslims are learning that our religion is worshiping dead people. Our religion is making dua to other than Allah. Our religion is slaughtering for other than Allah. Our religion is swearing by other than Allah. I've been to Muslim countries. If a person says, Wallahi, he may lie. But if he says, one Nabi, I swear by the Nabi, he'll tell the truth. We can't swear by the Nabi at all. With all of the love, the honor, respect we have for him, we can't swear by him. We only swear by Allah. Kuffar of Quraysh, they used to swear by their fathers because they exalted their fathers. When the Prophet came, he said, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, La tahlifu bi abaikum. Man kana halifin falyahlif billah. Don't swear on or by your fathers. Anyone who swears, swear by Allah alone. Hajj is all about this issue of at-Tawheed, all of it. And I can say a lot about this, but we have to move on to the next point, Insha Allah. We're going to Hajj to make this journey to show Allah alone deserves to be worshipped. Nobody else. He gave me health. He guided me to Islam. He gave me children. He gave me wealth. He gave me my career. He gave me stability. As he mentioned in the Qur'an, وَإِن تَعُدُّوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ لَا تُحْصُوهَا. If you were to try to count the favors of Allah upon you, you'll never be able to do so. Despite the many problems that we have. Everybody here has mushkilas, everybody. But despite those many problems, you can't enumerate the many favors. So what did he tell us? He says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, لا تنظروا إلى من هو فوقكم ولكن انظروا إلى من دونكم ذلك أجدر لأن لا تزدروا نعمة الله. Don't look at people who have been given more than you. Don't focus your attention and have a fixation on people who are richer than you, live in a better place than you. You think they're better than you. They may be, Allahu Alam. He said, don't look at them. He said, look at the people who are below you, who have less than you, not below you with your nose up in the air. He has more problems, like people living in Syria right now. Like some of our Muslim brothers who have to deal with the oppression of the Indians in Kashmir, Palestine. Look at people like that. People who you're going to see in Mecca who don't have arms and limbs. He said, look at the people who are lower than you, and that will be more impactful that you would appreciate the ni'mah of Allah in yourself. But if you're always looking at what he has, you won't appreciate what you've been given. So now the point here is, Hajj. It's all about the Tawheed of Allah. Get that in your mind. If you lose this point, your Hajj is going to be compromised. Now, some of you are looking at me real seriously like that, and this is a serious issue, but that doesn't mean Hajj is not going to be an experience that you can't enjoy. We're going to make friendships amongst ourselves, and we're going to experience experiences amongst ourselves that we're going to remember each other from this day until Yawm al-Qiyam, Insha Allah. People in this room, mark my word. And Yawm al-Qiyam, if we all die on Islam, we'll collectively be in Jannah and we'll remember amongst ourselves. Hey, you remember we performed Hajj that year? So Hajj is not a situation where the rough and tough people, the ISISes of the world, Boko Haram, Qaeda, these rough, life is, no, Hajj is not like that. That's not my message here. But my message is, take this thing seriously. Because this is an opportunity to come back like the day your mother gave birth to you. Second issue I want to bring your attention to is, there are many general ayat in the Qur'an and the authentic Sunnah. So when we tell you, this is what you should do, this is what you should do, it's because there are proofs to do that. You shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, that's from the culture, that's not established. That's just the thing, you won't have any proof, and that's why we're telling you, don't do this, don't do that. But I want to bring it back to the second point. Second point, Hajj is about Tawheed. Second point, there are many verses in the Quran, many authentic hadith that generally tell us, hurry up and do good deeds. Hurry up. Don't procrastinate. Many, not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, many. From them, Allah Ta'ala said in the Quran, وَسَارِعُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ أَرْضُهَا السَّمَاوَاتُ وَالْأَرْضُ أُعِدَّتْ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. Hurry up and ask your Lord for forgiveness and ask Him for the Jannah, whose width is like the heavens and the earth. Allah has prepared them for the people of taqwa. Hurry up and make tawbah. General ayah. Another ayah Allah Ta'ala told us, فَاسْتَبِقُوا الْخَيْرَاتِ. Be in a race all together to do good. The brothers who are at this table, when we go to eat, all of us, when we go to eat, I'm going to allow the elder person to go before me. I'm going to tell my senior brother, you stay here, I'll go get your food. I'll bring him a glass of water. I'll open up the door. I'll give him my chair. Be the one who's doing the most. Be in a race. Hurry up. General ayah. Meaning, from the Sunnah, the same thing. The Prophet mentioned sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam, اغتنم خمسا قبل خمس. Take advantage of 5 things before 5 things happen. Hurry up and take advantage of 5 things before 5 things happen. Take advantage of your youth before you get old. In our Jama'ah, in our group, our family here, men and women, some of us are older than others. Those of you who are in your 20s, Hajj is not going to be as difficult for you, inshallah, physically in terms of the demands as it is for the one who is in his late 50s, early 60s. Some of our pilgrims here, they are going to be really challenged. They're going to need our help. And when they need our help, be in a rush to help people, because it's going to be tough, I'm telling you. So hurry up and take advantage of your youth. Make Hajj. Pray. Make Tawbah while you're young, before you get old and you have to pray sitting down. You can't fast Ramadan. He said, take advantage of your health before you have bad health. Take advantage of your wealth before you don't have money. Make Hajj right now. 1986, I became a Muslim. Hajj was $1,000. $1,000. That's not £1,000, $1,000 in 1986. I made Hajj the last time with a group. I was a religious advisor. Hajj is £7,000 for them right now. You pay 4, 5, 6,000 pounds. So you have it this year, but you may not have it next year. So hurry up and take advantage of your wealth. Give sadaqah fi sabilillah, make Hajj. And then he said, take advantage of your free time before you become busy. So the lady, she doesn't have any children. She's just newly married. Learn the Qur'an now, because once you start having children, it's going to be difficult. You don't have to work now. You have a vacation, holiday. Then go on Hajj right now, because next year you won't be able to do it, for an example. 5, take advantage of your life before you're dead. I never saw a person who performed Hajj and he was a dead man. I mean, personally, since 86, I never went around the Kaaba and saw a dead person with me. This Ramadan just passed. I think everybody here knows someone or a few someones who died during Ramadan or before Ramadan. So take advantage of these. Those are general ahadith, and there are many. But when it comes to al-Hajj, there are specific hadith of the Prophet ﷺ telling people, hurry up and make Hajj. Hurry up, don't delay. He said in an authentic hadith, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "Man arad al-Hajj falyata'ajjal." Anybody who wants to perform Hajj, hurry up and do so. فَإِنَّ أَحَدَكُمْ لَا يَدْرِي مَا يَعْرَضُ لَهُ. Because none of you knows what's going to happen to him. Pay attention to this now. This is really important. Hurry up and perform the Hajj. Now, many of the Muslims in our community, they don't perform Hajj out of negligence, out of laziness. They don't see it as being really important. Maybe some people in this room, we could have performed Hajj prior to this room in terms of our finances and so forth and so on. We just waited until this time. That's permissible. That's permissible. Alhamdulillah, you're going to perform Hajj now. Many people, though, they don't perform Hajj out of laziness. But there are some people who you will be prevented from performing Hajj, and it has nothing to do with you. I want to perform Hajj next year. And he's serious. But when next year comes around, that's the time that his wife is going to deliver a child. So he has to tend to that. His mother is sick. He has to stay behind. He doesn't get time off from work. Something prevents it from doing this out of his hand. Like what the Prophet said, one of the signs of Yawm al-Qiyamah, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. قال يخرب كعب ذو سويقتين من الحبشة كأني أنظر إليه يخلعها حجرا حجرا. He said, there is a bow-legged man. He walks like a cowboy from Ethiopia, a bow-legged man. He called him the man with the bow legs. He said he is going to destroy the Kaaba brick by brick. It's as if I'm looking at him right now, dismantling the Kaaba. That's one of the signs of Yawm al-Qiyamah. The time is going to come, there's going to be no Kaaba. So he told the people, "Istamti'u bihadha al-bayt." Enjoy this house while it's here. Enjoy this Kaaba while it's here. And I don't want to digress, but I have to interject this. And I don't want to be political, but I have to say this. We're living in a time right now, a time of fitin. This is a time of fitna, a big fitna. We're dealing with these people who are crazy, these people who are rough and tough Muslims, giving the whole ummah a bad name, ISIS and all these people. So as a result of their behavior, the government here in America and the West generally, they are putting in initiatives and laws to contain our religion. Normative Islam, normal Islam is under siege now. Under siege. If your child goes to school and they showed your child a children's book that had two men as the father and the wife, two men, and your child say, hey, I'm a Muslim, I don't agree with that. The teacher has been told, pay attention to that child. These are signs of extremism. No, that's normal Islam. I'm not out to harm anybody. I didn't teach my child harm anybody, a gay person, but that's against our religion. That's normal Islam. So now the day may come, Allahu Alam. We're traveling to Mecca, paying 4,000 or 5,000 pounds, 6,000 pounds to go to the middle of the desert in Arafat to stand in two towels. Maybe the government's going to say that's extremism. No one does that except an extremist. Who in his right mind goes to the middle of the desert to wear a towel with no underclothes, just a towel, top and bottom? It's not far-fetched. Maybe it won't happen this year. Maybe it'll never happen. But the way normative Islam is under siege, hurry up and enjoy this house while you have the opportunity. So now that you people have accepted the call that Ibrahim made in the Qur'an, وَأَذِّن فِي النَّاسِ بِالْحَجِّ, yeah, Ibrahim, make the call to the people for the Hajj. If the people hear it, they're going to come walking. They're going to come on animals that are famished, animals that are well-fed. They'll be coming through every valley. You just make the call. You people heard that call and you're here now. But while you're there, take advantage of the opportunity. Brings me to the next point, inshallah. What's the opportunity? Listen, guys, brothers and sisters, listen to what I'm about to tell you right now. Hajj is in the month of Dhul Hijjah, one of the sacred months. And the first 10 days of that month, as you all know, are the best days in the year, better than the days of Ramadan. He says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, ma min ayamin al-amalu salihu ahabbu ila Allahi fihinna min hadhihi al-ayam. There are no days that are better than these 10 days as it relates to the good deeds. Allah loves the good deeds during these days more than any other day. So the people who remain back in the UK, people who don't perform Hajj, if they pray, if they give salams, if they read the Qur'an, if they visit their relatives, if they feed people, that's the best thing they can do during the whole year. You people will be in Mecca. You people will be in Medina during this time. You'll be in the best place during the best time if you can remember this. Because a lot of people will be there and they won't even realize, hey, you're in the best place at the best time. So take advantage of the opportunity. What's the opportunity? The opportunities are countless. I don't have enough time right now to deal with them, but I'll remind you of a few. First of all, Allah mentioned in the Qur'an, إِنَّ أَوَّلَ بَيْتٍ وُضِيَ لِلنَّاسِ لَلَّذِي بِبَكَّةٍ مُبَارَكًا وَهُدًى لِلْعَالَمِينَ. The very first masjid that was placed in the earth, the very first house, the ayah said, إِنَّ أَوَّلَ بَيْتٍ وُضِيَ لِلنَّاسِ. The very first house that was placed in the earth was the one that was built in Mecca, the Kaaba. In it is barakah, and in it is a guidance for the alameen. So that's the first masjid placed on the face of the earth. At that place are ibadat, forms of worship you can't do anywhere else in the world. Whether it's during those 10 days or outside of those 10 days. From them, the prayer in that place is 100,000 prayers compared to anywhere else. That's your sunnah prayers, your wajib prayers. So some of us in this room, we used to didn't pray in the past. when we were 18, 19. We didn't pray. So we want to get those prayers back. Some people will tell you, try to calculate the number of prayers that you missed and make them up. That's impossible. And that's not something that's supported by proofs. People making the religion difficult on you. It's not possible. You don't know, and you'll never know how many prayers you missed. But what you do is you try to recapture those prayers by praying as much as you can in that masjid. Every time you pray, it's 100,000, 100,000, 100,000. Only in that place. Going around the Kaaba, only around the Kaaba. The Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when you go around that Kaaba, you are in prayer, tawaf. So therefore, only speak what is good. You're in salat, so you have to have wudu. You have to have wudu anytime you're making tawaf. You break that wudu, you have to leave. It's prayer, salat. So only say what's good. You can read the Qur'an, you can make dua, and it's an opportunity for you guys who are going with your wives. How many are going with your wives? How many? May Allah help you. Say Ameen. Say Ameen. You're going with your wife. You can rekindle your relationship with your wife going around the Kaaba. Because when you see the Kaaba for the first time, it's going to blow your mind. You're going to be discombobulated. I guarantee you, inshallah, when you come back, if someone asks you, how did you feel when you saw the Kaaba? You won't have the words to explain because you've seen it on Islam Channel. You've seen it on calendars. You've seen it, but seeing it is not, in real life, is not like seeing it ever. You become discombobulated. When I first performed Hajj, when I lived in Medina with a group of African Americans who were reverts, one brother who used to be a Christian, like many of us, when we first went to the Kaaba, he said, Jesus Christ. He didn't mean that. He was just overwhelmed. So he said, Jesus Christ, but he didn't mean that. We all looked at him and said, hey, what do you mean, Jesus Christ? He kind of took away from the, you know, the whole thing when he said that. But I understood why he said that. He was overwhelmed. It's like the man who the Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah is more happier when one of you makes tawbah than a man who is in the middle of the desert. He gets off of his camel to relax, and his camel ran away, and he's in the middle of the desert. So he feels, I'm going to die. So he goes under a tree, and then he wakes up after sleeping, and his camel is standing over his head. He grabs the camel by his reins, and then he says, oh Allah, you are my slave, and I'm your Lord. The Prophet said he made a mistake out of sheer happiness. He didn't mean to say that. Oh Allah, you're my slave. He wanted to say, you're my Lord and I'm your slave. Thank you for sending this camel back. But he was so overwhelmed with happiness, he made a mistake. That's what happened to that brother. So what the Muslim has to do when someone is extremely happy, extremely angry, and he says something in that state that's against the religion, relax. Relax. Take it easy. Don't be like ISIS and these people. Don't be like that. Anyway, back to the point. Going around the Kaaba, every right step is a hasana. Every left step is a sin taken off of you. So when you're going around the Kaaba with all those people there, when we first arrive, there are going to be a lot of people. And it's going to be a challenge. You have to go around 7 times. And you're being squeezed from here and there. And it is quite an experience. You have to remember, every right step is a hasana, every left step is a sayyah. I did a lot of bad stuff. Every left step, I did a lot of bad stuff. So let it get wiped off. And every right step is a good deed. Let that be your motivation. Don't get taken away by the fact that someone is pushing you. 4 million people are pushing him as well. And that's why he's pushing you. So don't lose your Hajj at that place. That tawaf is a place, this reward is only there. And there are just too many examples. Going to Mount Arafat. When we're in Mina, there is a masjid, guys. Listen, many of the brothers who perform Hajj, they probably didn't even know this. This is the benefit you get from making Hajj with the Sunnah Tours. There is a masjid at Mina called Masjid al-Khayf. Al-Khayf. It's in Mina. The Prophet said, pray in that masjid, because many prophets prayed in that masjid. Many other Hajj groups won't even tell you that, because it's all about money, 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 money. This is a money-making venture. But the people care about you performing a good Hajj because they get the reward. So only that place did all of those prophets and messengers pray there. So you have to make it your business, inshallah, if you have the ability to go there, which we will do. And believe me, when you pray in that place, when you pray there, you're going to feel your iman rise up just the same way you felt it rise in the month of Ramadan. Prophets prayed in this earth, in this land, right here. And here I am today. How did I get here? So there are many things you can do there. Many other things I don't have time to go into. Let's take it to Al-Medina. Al-Medina, the city of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When we arrive in Jeddah, if we get through the paperwork and we get through the place, the pilgrim city, we're going to go to Medina first to rest up. And while we're resting there, the jet lag, we're going to be cooling out in the Prophet's city, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In his masjid, the salat is 1,000 salat anywhere else. 1,000. You didn't pray salat during your lifetime. Try to pray as many prayers there. In his masjid, he said in an authentic hadith, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "Ma bayna bayti wa minbari rawdatun min riyad al-jannah." The space between my house and my minbar, where his grave is. His grave, he died in the house of Aisha. Between that space and my minbar, where I used to give the khutbah, he said that is a garden from the gardens of paradise. The carpet is green there. Everywhere else is red. That place will be open for the women during the daytime, early in the morning, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. If you pray there, you're praying in one of the gardens of paradise. Now, some Muslims, modern meaning if it doesn't make sense with science, if it doesn't make sense with what the population of the majority of the people are saying or doing, then I don't accept it. The Prophet told us many things that these people don't understand and they don't accept. But the real believer, when he hears it, he says, I believe in that. Someone says, hey, do you really believe that you're praying in a garden of paradise? Do you really believe that? The real Muslim is going to say, look, I don't want to just answer your question, but the local football stadium, let's fill that football stadium up with spectators. Give me the microphone, ask me that question. Do you really believe that you're playing in one of the gardens of paradise? I'm going to say in front of all of those people, Allahumma naam, I believe it. Just as I believe if you drink Zamzam water, it is a cure for every disease. Do you really believe you can drink Zamzam water and it can cure arthritis? The Prophet said it's a cure for every disease, if Allah wills. Some Muslims, you want to make Hajj, and you're one of those people who say, you roll your eyes like that and suck your teeth at those kinds of hadith, because where's the science behind that? What kind of Hajj are you performing? That's what the Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and that's what we have to buy into. So that's in Medina. And Medina also is a masjid called Masjid Quba. It's mentioned in the Qur'an. لَمَسْجِدٌ أُسِّسَ عَلَى التَّقْوَى مِنَ اللَّهِ أَوَّلْ يَوْمٍ أَحَقًّا تُقُومَ فِيهِ فِيهِ رِجَالٌ يُحِبُّونَ أَن يَتَطَهَّرُوا وَاللَّهُ يُحِبُّ الْمُطَّهِّرِينَ. Allah said, in Al-Medina is a masjid that from the first day it was built upon the taqwa of Allah. It is better that you stand in that masjid, Ya Muhammad, and pray in that masjid, because in that masjid are men who love to be purified, meaning the Ansar. Masjid Quba, while we're in Medina, listen to this, while we're in Medina, inshallah, Prophet Muhammad said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, anyone who makes wudu in his house, and then he goes to Masjid Quba, and he prays 2 rak'ah, he'll get the reward of Umrah. From the hotel where we'll be staying, it won't cost more than 10 riyals, 15 riyals a piece for 3 or 4 people to get in a taxi to go to that masjid every day. Every day, if you have the ability. You didn't even go to Mecca yet, But if you pray 2 rakat, provided you make wudu in your house, in your dasal, where you're living. Don't make wudu there unless you have a medical problem. You can't keep wudu. He said you make wudu in your house, you go to that masjid, you pray 2 rakat, you'll get the reward of performing umrah. So he used to go to that masjid every week, walking or riding, showing its importance. Can't do that anywhere else. And there are just so many other examples about this is a special place, ibadat, forms of worship, that can't be done any other place. Can't be done. Mecca, Medina, and there are many other things that we can mention about Medina, like the ziyarah that we're going to have, inshallah, the visit, where we'll go to the masajid and the places that have some historical significance, like Uhud. Uhud is just as big as the city of Bradford is. It's a big mountain. The Prophet said, Uhud jabalun nuhibbuhu wa yuhibbuna. Uhud is a mountain that we love it and it loves us. So part of al-Iman, faith, is for a Muslim to love that mountain, because the Prophet said, we love it and it loves us. He said the Ansar, no one loves them but a mu'min. So the one with Iman, he loves the Ansar for what they did. So as it relates to Uhud and Mecca and Medina, every single day, guys, every single day, every single prayer, every day, every prayer, every day, every prayer, while we're in Medina, while we're in Mecca, every day, every prayer. There's going to be not one janazah, 2, 3, 4. There are going to be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people dying. And the prayer every day for every prayer will take place in Medina and Mecca. And anyone who goes to a janazah and he prays over the janazah, he prays, he'll get the reward of giving Uhud and Sadaqah. And you'll see that mountain, Uhud and Sadaqah. If he follows the janazah, he'll get 2 Uhuds and Sadaqah. That's also here in Bradford, though. If you went and you prayed a janazah for any Muslim, you'll get Uhud, Sadaqah if you prayed, and 2 Uhud if you go behind them. But we don't do that every day. So some people will be fasting over there doing some of the days. So this is another opportunity that you have.